block in Squarespace is a great way to share audio files with your website visitors, but the design settings are pretty limiting. The only options we have are minimal or classic, and dark or light. And that's it. But luckily, we can use custom code to make those audio blocks look even more unique. I'm Becca from Inside the Square, and in this tutorial, I'll be sharing with you my favorite ways to customize the audio block using CSS. That's a type of code that we can use to change the style of a Squarespace website. Now, all of the codes I'm about to share with you are available for free on my blog at insidethesquare.co. But without further ado, I'm going to share my screen so I can teach you exactly how to use these codes and how to customize them to make them uniquely yours. Let's get started. Here we are inside Squarespace, and I'm going to hop into edit mode to show you that we have two different types of audio blocks. If I double click on this block and look at the design tab, you can see that I've chosen the minimal audio player here, and I've also selected the dark player color. We'll be adjusting those colors, so even if you have light selected, these codes will still work for you. The second audio block on this page is actually using the design setting of the classic player style, and we'll be modifying that one as well. To do all of these modifications, customizing the color, lifting with a shadow, and changing the shape, we're going to use custom CSS. I'll go ahead and select Exit, and on the left-hand side of the screen here, I'm going to navigate to Pages. Then I'll select Custom Code, and then Custom CSS. If your menu doesn't look like mine, press the / key on your keyboard and search for your CSS panel to navigate there directly. Now that we're here, I'll zoom in on the code and I'm going to paste some custom CSS right here so we can identify which audio player we're about to change. This first part of the code is for the minimal audio player and the second part is for the classic. Now, nothing has changed on the screen yet because we haven't actually made any adjustments, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to enter a new line between these curly brackets here, and let's give a solid background color to this minimal audio player. I've written background blue important. We have to add this part to our code because we're overriding the background color that's already been assigned by Squarespace. Now, if you know the hex color code that you like to use, you can use that instead of a web-safe color name, like this code for a dark purple. We can take this exact same background color code and apply it to the classic audio player as well. I'll enter a line between those curly brackets, and now our audio players match. You can get really creative with this background here, doing all kinds of fun stuff, like maybe a linear gradient, but for the purpose of this tutorial, let's go back to an easy-to-see solid background color and work on our next code, lifting it with a shadow. I'm going to add a semicolon after the word important, and then I'll add my box shadow code. Box shadows work with a horizontal offset, vertical offset, a blur or a spread, and then the color that you want the shadow to be. Now let's take this same box shadow code and let's apply it to this minimal audio player on the top. I'll add a semicolon after the word important and paste my code here, and let's get creative with our customizations. I'll change the shadow color, and let's change the direction. Horizontally, we'll move it -5 pixels, so the shadow scoots to the left. And vertically, let's go ahead and move it -5 so the shadow scoots to the top instead of the bottom. We can get really creative here. Last but not least, I'd love to talk about changing the shape. This is one of my favorite ways to customize the audio block. I'm going to add a semicolon after our box shadow, and here I'm going to say border radius 50 px. Now I have those curved corners for that minimal audio player. And although that's a great start, we can get even more creative. We can create a leaf shape with 50 px and 0 px, take that in the opposite direction, or create this tabbed look where we have a 50 px border on the top left, then 0 or 90 degrees on the top right, bottom right, and then the bottom left becomes 50 again. Let me highlight those in order for you here. We've got top left, top right, bottom left. But if you only specify one value, every single corner will have that value. This border radius code also applies to the classic audio player as well. But because that audio player is already rounded, if we set it to be 0, we'll get those 90-degree corners. We've got a lot of unique options for editing this audio player, and again, make sure that you recognize which type you're using. SQS Widgets Audio Player is for the minimal design. SQS Audio Player is for the classic design. So whatever design you've selected, make sure you're using the right codes. Underneath this video, you'll find a link to my original blog post where I have all of the codes that we just used to modify that audio block. When you copy those out of my blog and paste them into your Squarespace website, make sure you update the important parts of that code like the colors so it matches your own unique website style. I'm Becca from Inside the Square, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know in the comments. And if you have a question about Squarespace, let me know in the comments. I'd love to help. Thank you so much for watching. And most importantly, have fun with your Squarespace website. Bye for now. To learn more about creative ways that you can make Squarespace uniquely yours, visit InsideTheSquare.co. That's InsideTheSquare.co.